Welcome back to the Shot by Shot podcast, where today we are finally talking about Christopher Nolan's latest movie, The Odyssey, the big follow up to his Oscar winning Oppenheimer, which was a hard thing to top. You don't really know where he's going to go, and he adapts one of the oldest stories ever. And again, I don't know where he's going to go after this because this has already been one of his most successful films at the box office, beating out Oppenheimer, and even The Dark Knight is one of his most successful movies. It's definitely the peak of his career so far. I think it's him at his most interesting. He's definitely changed my opinion of him. But yeah, we're gonna go and talk about what we thought of his latest movie. Daniel, what did you think about The Odyssey?
I loved it. I think I agree. I think he's becoming quite. I know he's like fifth in his fifties. It feels like he's becoming quite a mature filmmaker with this and Oppenheimer. Um, Not familiar with the source material, which I know Oscar is. I admitted that I thought the Trojan thing was real until like a year ago. I did not know the Trojan horse was from the Odyssey. I thought it was like an actual thing, which is embarrassing. But no, I really like this. I'm rewatching it again tomorrow. Not in IMAX because I don't know about where you are, but it's just impossible to get IMAX seats at the minute.
Mm.
Um, so I'm seeing it in standard 2D. I'm going to see how bad the aspect ratio changes. People are saying that it's like ridiculous that he shot it specifically for IMAX, but I don't think it is. I think it's his vision. He's got the he's got the power to decide that, and you should watch it in IMAX. Anyway, I know some countries just don't have it, which is annoying. It's fair enough, but if you have access to IMAX, you should see this in IMAX. Visually pretty stunning. I have a little bit of issues with some of the visuals, but they're really minor. All my issues with this film are really minor. I think structurally it's my favourite film. I think it's clever. I think the callbacks to all the Athena scenes, the way it threads everything together is really good. Um, and yeah, Prestige was my favourite. I'm going to rewatch that to see if it compares, but this might be my favourite. Oppenheimer was very good though. I think he's in a very good trajectory late in his career so far, and I'd be interested to see what he does next because people are calling for horror films from him, and some imagery in this is really good, especially practical imagery. So yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
But the the I want to start the thing about Nolan's next film. I saw someone suggest that his next film should be a baseball film, and I don't think I could agree more.
Field of Dreams. Yeah,
That it's such a no, it's such a an out there shout. But I don't know. I kind of like I'll go into my limitations on Nolan, but I kind of want him to make something smaller. Um, I think that'd be a much more interesting follow up than something big again.
Or you can't go
Um,
bigger. There's nowhere bigger
true,
than.
true. I think it's I think it's funny that I know Daniel said that he thought the Trojan horse was real. Technically speaking, the Trojan horse isn't actually from the Odyssey. Um, like it is like in the book, it's like mentioned. There's like a mention of a horse, and that's about it. Like it was more expanded on by uh, authors and writers in the hundreds of years to follow.
Oh, so it's fan fiction of Homer.
Yeah, it's Homer fan fiction, really. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? Um, yeah, I and but my thoughts on the film, I wasn't a massive fan, and I think this film is a good overview of why I for the most part just don't seem to engage with Nolan's filmmaking. You know, he sticks to what he loves, which is admirable, but I really wish he would move away from the IMAX film stuff because I think it is incredibly ugly and incredibly limiting of his own capabilities. And yeah, I don't know, the decision to make this kind of a godless Odyssey as well, especially for what his traits are, I don't know, didn't really mix well with me.
Is it godless, or is it just because they don't like show the physical manifestation of it?
Yeah, I guess it is godless. In comparison to the book, it is pretty godless. Like, the book is like physical manifestations of it, and Athena like physically aids Odysseus in fighting, and like in the last act when he's like got his hood over and stuff. In the book, like Athena like completely changes his appearance like in a disguise, so people can't tell that it's him. And then she'll like hinder fighters that are attacking him as well. And yeah, but there are actually physical scenes of gods in the source material. Even though the translation I read, I think is a bit outdated, but oh well. But I think for the most part, the it is fairly godless, but it's kind of what I anticipated from him. I think it's what he's known for, and yeah, it still bugged me.
I don't I don't know. I don't agree. I don't agree that the gods are adaptable. I think no matter how it would be, it would end up being silly. Like Troy kind of
Mm,
done the same thing. I know it's weird. I've not seen people really bring the godless stuff up with Nolan, but then I watched Troy, and that was kind of like this big complaint that I think at the time was that he kind of ignores the gods. I know Nolan
mm,
Nolan does it a lot. Nolan's involved a lot more in his movie. Like Poseidon is a big factor in the journey home, which I guess is just a
yeah.
bit more factor of the story. But like Troy, they only really kind of mention them, and they're not really not even their kind of actions towards them are really part of the movie. I feel like
Mm.
that movie was treated a lot more harshly for not having gods.
What, Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy's an interesting film. I don't even. I think that film is perfectly okay. I think my like Troy is adapted from the Iliad, which is the
Mm.
book before this, which I haven't read, but that even though that film contains the Trojan horse scene, that book doesn't. It ends like the Iliad ends. The bit with the
Well, it
burial
ends
rites.
like these two movies kind of do just perfectly overlap. Like the Troy is like kind of a perfect like
Yeah.
prequel to this.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It is. They are. It's like history's first sequel. The Odyssey is really, um,
Yeah.
um. But yeah, I guess. But there's like, in the if you actually got the Iliad and the Odyssey, then there's like a gap in the middle of them, and that gap is the Trojan horse bit. Well, actually, no, it's more than no. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Um which was, yeah, like I said, was added later. But no, the film's not totally godless. But I feel he holds himself back a bit with that, and kind of fences himself into this one corner where he's kind of confined to doing um, one type of like atmosphere and feel in his world, and it didn't take me very far. Um, but no, Troy's an interesting shout. That film is. I feel like that film. I prefer that film slightly, even though I don't think that film is great at all. That film is so Hollywood. It is. It's so Hollywood.
It
It
is,
is.
yeah.
It's incredibly stereotypical. Um, but I think that film feels more tactile than this does. Um, Maybe that's just a progression of time, but yeah, interesting to compare the two.
I just quite like the mysticism of the way he presents the gods. I know it's quite a generic way to do it, to not show them and instead show like for Zeus like the thunder and the lightning, and then Poseidon. I really like that Poseidon scene at the end where he ends up back in what's Ithaca, is it? Is that the place?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I like that scene. So I get what you mean, but at the same time, the Cyclops scene's like amazing. The I did not know that practical, the Cersei scene with the witch. apparently she was like
Hmm.
sculpting like clay. Was it clay? It was made out
It
of.
must have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really cool. And that Cyclops scene, I thought was like, I didn't realize it was a puppet. I thought it was all what do you call it? What's
It's a
that technique
mixture
called?
of VFX
Yeah, yeah,
and
thingy.
um
Where it
I swear
makes.
there's like an insert shot of like a actor in makeup as well.
Yeah,
oh
there
For one
definitely
of
really?
the
is. There
shots. Yeah.
definitely is. I
Yeah,
feel like
the actor was Bill Owen, wasn't it?
that's it. They do force perspective and puppetry, and they do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I swear. There's like Ryan said, someone is in makeup, so it's really cool how he blends all three. Obviously, the puppet's CG'd over. Um,
Hmm.
Hmm.
I just think it's really cool that the giants are like 6 foot something people, and the extras are like 5 foot as well. Um, I don't know. I like that it's not overly reliant on CG and a lot of it's practical, especially for such an epic story. And I'd be interested to know what it cuts because I'm not familiar with source material, but I've heard people say that a lot of the stuff on the beach that Odysseus is like on for a while, there's like lotus eaters and stuff. Is that what they're called? Um,
Um, do you want me to give you the rundown of of like?
if you wanna run down what he's cut, it's up to you.
Okay, so the Lotus Eaters is like in this is like mixed in with Calypso, like that's the thing that she gives him. And in the book, the Lotus Eaters is like one of the first islands that they go to. There's like a group of people who are the Lotus Eaters and make some of the men just stay there forever. So that island was like cut out and mixed in with Calypso, and then with Calypso, like in the book, the reason he doesn't really question why he's there and he stays or anything, like I know he's like imprisoned there anyway, but he has doubts about actually whether he wants to go back home or not, which I find more interesting than I think that like I know I didn't like the whole film, but I think the Calypso stuff is particularly weak. And then what else does so after he leaves Calypso's place, that island, uh, instead of going straight back home, he washes up on like a shore of this country, this like kingdom, whatever, which is where he then basically retells all of his story, not where Calypso is, and then like spends some times there, and then he like catches a ship and wakes up back on the shore, like we see there. And then yeah, so Troy doesn't happen in this book, so there's no kind of all the kind of recollection and emotional centering around Troy is not as prevalent in the book at all. Um, and obviously spoilers. We're getting into it. Trying to think what else. Antinius, you know that the at the start of that the fight at the end where the guy gets just shot with the arrow in the neck.
Hmm.
In the book, it's Antinous, Pattinson's character, that is first to die. Um, and and then the ending. Um, Yeah, we the prophet in hell prophesizes that he has to do one last thing in the film, to go and honor the dead, which is where he goes off with Penelope. In the book, he does have to go off, but he has to wander till he finds a group of people who know nothing of the sea, and make one last offering to please Poseidon without his wife. Um, and I think that is about it. Um, the bit where he comes back and Telemachus and him fight all those people in the cave, that doesn't happen either. He does. They do miss an ambush on him, but yeah, most things happen on Ithaca.
Doesn't he
Um,
kill every suitor as well in the original.
He does. Yeah, he does. I guess he does here. Yeah, the original. Um, and
He leaves
yeah,
a
it's
few
like
alive in the film because they like
yeah,
bow down to him.
yeah.
But I suppose
Everyone
that's a minor
dies in the
change.
thing. Um, and he definitely has sex with Cersei and Calypso in the book as well. Um, I think the Cersei stay is more
Cersei as
prolonged.
well.
Yeah,
I kind of like that
I'm
cut
almost.
though. I kind of like that they cut that because it feels like it sort of downplays her. I don't know,
Um,
character.
they become more friendly. No, but
Right.
she is more of a like I know she does it
Seduction.
in there. Yeah, seduction. Yeah, she is
Yeah.
more uh that base, but than what she is here. Even though it was cool to see the pig transformation stuff. Um and the I don't know how to pronounce it, but the big silver armored guys. I feel like
Oh, yeah.
he a lot of those kind of sequences are only like it's fascinating that something like the sirens, which has become so iconic influence now, is like a page long, and like you feel it in the film, to be fair, because like it is a very brief scene, but yeah, things like that, and the silver armored um giants is another one that is like very brief in the book, but they're like they're still giants, but they're cannibals, um, and there's like mentions of like brief battle, but there's nothing expansive. A lot is you'll find that the so many of these like incidents are very brief. And there's probably a couple that I'm missing out, but all like the whirlpool and the that monster in Apollo's island and the cattle, that's all there and vaguely similar. The only other thing was that after his all his men get killed in that storm after Apollo's island, he like his ship gets eaten up by that whirlpool again, and then he ends up on Calypso shore. But I think that's about the most notable of changes. Like for the most part, it's pretty similar.
All right, interesting. Because I thought a lot of like stuff would have been cut from like the Giants Island or like Cersei, like just because it
Hmm.
definitely keeps like the story momentum going quite well. So I just
Yeah.
imagined like there would have been more stuff cut.
No,
Um,
the Giants Island is very swift,
all right.
and hell as well. They're like the bit where they like all charge and run him off of the island, that doesn't happen. And I think Achilles appears as one of the dead spirits. Um, in the book. And my personal favorite extension, the thing that he added was Sinon's character, who, like the Trojan horse, was added later down the line as part of as part of the story, because his character is not in the Odyssey. But I honestly found that the most compelling part of the film. I thought it was really interesting, and especially um the way I think it's the best moment of vindication that this film offers. The bit where he hands the wooden token back to Pattinson at the end. No, and I thought Elliot Page gave one of the best performances in the film too. Um, nice surprise.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of the better parts. But well, it plays into the kind of just like story arc of the way he makes Odysseus this kind of like tormented man.
Mm,
Um, that's like can't forget about the horrors that he's almost set upon, I guess, upon the land, in a almost
mm,
like Oppenheimer esque way, in the same
mm,
kind of addressed in the same fashion. I mean, him and Jennifer Lem, like the way they kind of like edit, towards the end specifically as well, definitely feels a little like Oppenheimer. It definitely plays into like why I think they are one of the best kind of like editing director combos right now. Um, Especially that ending, feels very Oppenheimer esque. And
mm,
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of movies now don't really have that like oomph at the end that just like feel leaving like so satisfied, and I feel like they've kind of mastered like the ending almost. I mean, like the momentum of the editing is like so good like throughout, but like I think they really know how to like leave you like feeling with the right emotion at the end of the movie. With Oppenheimer and this have been like just incredible.
No, it is. I think it's an interesting. Uh, I don't know. This pairing is. Oppenheimer is a film that turns reality. It turns it turns him into a myth, and the opening quote of Oppenheimer is the Prometheus stole the fire from the gods and he gave it to man for this who was chained to a rock and tortured all eternity. He's already starting on the Greek legends, and this kind of does like the opposite. This turns a myth into closer to reality, um,
Yeah.
because Nolan does just like to imagine things if they were real. But no, there is definitely an extension of that. Um, yeah, like the Trojan horse is like the atom bomb for the Bronze Age in this. Basically, I don't know how I feel. I it was one of those films for me where I I thought that it was trying to be timely with little point. There's all the bits with the sea people, and it's revealed that Odysseus's crew and himself are these feared people. But it was never really something that I got on board with, and I think the fact that it uses those for like plot twists and um, Athena's Athena, well, Xander is basically just like an object of Odysseus's guilt in this, um, which felt incredibly one dimensional.
I
Really, I think it
love that ending.
makes the movie for
Yeah, I
me.
love that ending. That's like that final I think it's like 10 minutes that Troy flashback scene. I was like struggling to breathe. I love that ending so much, and I like the interpretations of Athena. Is it just him hallucinating guilt, or is it? I've seen loads of interpretations. Was that priestess actually Athena in disguise? Because they keep going on about the beggars being. It could be Zeus, or was it Athena herself manifesting as that priestess, which is what I think. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I really love that ending. I think it's one of his strongest conclusions. Probably not as strong as Oppenheimer, but my favorite thing about the film is more the structure of the plot and the pacing than the actual content. I really like the content, but um, I like how it. He plays with time in a lot of his films, but I really like the um, like Oscar said, it makes him really feel like a myth, which is what he is. People recounting stories about him, and the sea people stuff. Um, if you catch on to that, I thought it was quite a cool twist. I know referring to themselves as the Bronze Age agents and stuff like that is like historically inaccurate because how would they know that? But that didn't bother me too much. The only issue with the pacing I had, and I think I mentioned this when we were talking about it, is I think this rush through the siren scene and the whirlpool. I forgot the name of the whirlpool, but that scene as well. I feel that's quite
Shaubliss,
yeah. And
I
then
can never
actually
pronounce
no,
it, and
the
shit
siren scene.
hurts.
The siren scene's fine. It's a bit after the that thing and the little monster as well. I feel that's quite rushed through.
They do kind of tell you what's going to happen right before that though, so I feel
Yeah,
like they
I know they
really
can't
Yeah.
that
like.
was drawn out.
I know they can't linger on it because yeah, they literally tell you what's going to
Mm.
happen. But I suppose that's more an issue with the actual text in the film. I didn't. I've seen that back. I don't think that monster looks very good. That
What,
grabs
the
them.
one where it just like goes into a barnacle?
Yeah, I've
That's
watched
Mm.
it
such a
twice.
that's such
I
a
just
naff thing. I'm I don't know. It just I guess it's just my reservations with Nolan, um, making things minimal. But I don't know. It just like I wanted to see more of that. It felt lackluster.
I just
And
thought it looked.
yeah. Sorry, I know it's brief in the book. That sequence, but I did want more out of that.
I just thought it looked quite cheap looking. And I
Mm,
have watched it back, and I'm gonna watch it again on a cinema screen tomorrow. But I don't know. Sort of stood out to me. I don't know if it's design or the way it's CG. I just don't think it looked very good. But that is such a minor complaint in comparison to everything else. That one sequence, I didn't think it was particularly great. Um,
Am I wrong in thinking that's like a three-headed kraken or something in the story? Like I remember when it got announced he was
it's
making
got
this,
like
like people were
six
posting like
heads.
art of like 6 heads.
I think the
It's
idea is
not a kraken, but like the whirlpool, the whirlpool is a monster as well. I also wanted to see some of that, but it's in this is just like it's just a whirlpool,
yeah, they don't
and
treat it like a monster at all.
yeah. So yeah.
I learn for that monster scene. That's where the saying "between a rock and a hard place" is from. The more you know. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. Saw it in an interview. I was like, damn.
Ah. I never knew
Oh
that.
fuck.
That's crazy. That is.
I, Speaking of that, I found it funny that his mentor was called Mentor.
Yeah, well,
So it's
Yeah,
a
that's where
fact.
it comes from. That's where the word
yeah.
comes
Yeah, I know
from.
that's where it comes from. I know. That's why I'm
Yeah.
bringing it up.
I saw some like stupid Twitter thing like Nolan's so obvious that he just like his name the character's name is just Mentor because he helps him like
You like protagonist.
hello. They really does show you. Um, I I do think it's funny that just the amount of memes are coming out of like a nearly 3,000-year-old text is just really funny to me. um, all the uh, all the siren stuff specifically, but yeah, um,
Yeah, I think the actors are just kind of
I
like riffing so many of them in these clips. Like there's going to be so many like Robert Pattinson clips once this is released on digital. Um,
no, but
Matt
the
Damon's
cam rip
great.
is one
Like
of those
the
things.
siren
The
scene that you're
cam rip
saying.
is better. The
The
I
camera
Cam
does
just
rip's
make
fair.
I
everybody.
Yeah,
the
no, it does.
camera is the I think there's been a few cases now where when he gets releases on digital the clear version just it doesn't feel right. The camera versions are yeah, I don't know, it has a bit of a hit to it.
His line reads are ridiculous in that film. He's such a good actor. Um, he feels like the
Mm,
best actor in the film, and he's only in it for like. I actually think John Leguizamo is very good, but
mm.
Pattinson's only in it probably about 20 minutes screen time, but he just steals every scene he's in. I love how like pathetic he is and how he conveys it through his like facial expressions. Um,
Mm.
I think Damon's great though as well. It's just not someone I would expect to be casted in that role. But I suppose it's Nolan's bread and butter. So I don't even think Tom Holland's is that bad. I think he's like a weaker actor than a lot of the people he's going up against. But I don't think he gives a bad performance. I think he gives as good as you can
Mm.
expect from him. Um,
He's good
I
then.
think John Bernthald's like at similar levels to Tom Holland as well, even though I like him.
I think John Bernthal stands out more as like an awkward kind of casting than
Yeah,
Tom
just because
Holland.
he line reads the same in everything he's in.
He does,
Like let me
yeah.
tell you something.
You got a story about Odysseus?
Um, yeah, he's quite distracting.
Yeah, no, I think Holland is kind of distracting. He's just, I think this is my final straw for him. He's just not a good actor, and no, I guess it is unfortunate that, like you said, everyone else is just better actors. So when he sticks out like a sore thumb.
I
But
don't think he's given anything to stand out. I think he is good in this role.
true.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
like scene stealing part, is there really?
Mm.
I think he's fine. I think he's a decent actor, but he's not really performing with decent actors. He's performing with great actors. Like even Anne Hathaway, like shows him up in that scene where they're having an argument. She's pretty good in this. I forgot Mia Goth was in it. She like jump scared me when she appeared. So many like actors in this I forgot was in it.
Hmm. Um. What was it? Oh, I know you touched. I know you like touched on it, Ryan, before, not here. But what did you think about all the shallow focus stuff? Because I know. Did you have any problems with it?
I had problems with it when I watched it in IMAX. It was pretty
Mm.
distracting, especially during. There's a lot of the like kind of close up dialogue scenes between Tom Holland and Anne Hathaway in the palace. They're kind
Mm.
of like, cause of the IMAX ratio, there is like so much headroom that is just like blurred basically.
Mm.
Um, Second time around, I think this kind of comes into like the kind of like ratio conversation again. But I watched it in 70 millimeter, and because the ratio is kind of just the actors' heads are kind of mostly taking up the frame, there's just less like empty space for it to be shallow focus, and I think it works a lot better because you don't have that like
Mm.
top and bottom of the frame. Um, I think it's kind of ridiculous to assume that Van Hoytema and like Nolan are kind of just ignoring the fact that it's going to be played outside of IMAX. Like they're definitely blocking it and framing it for different stuff. I don't know what it'd be like in like a very normal like theater, because obviously like I don't know how much they would put into like just the very basic like widescreen ratio, because like that's not even going to be how it's going to be like when it gets released physically. I feel like the focus
Mm.
would be 70 mil and the IMAX.
But like, do you not think it's a problem that they're shooting for what, like three different aspect ratios at once? Like, does that
Well, it's more like
function?
two, is what I'm saying. Is like
Still, I feel like.
my thing is because like if he wasn't in the IMAX, I'd want him to be. I guess ideally there'd be like another large format like VistaVision or just shooting on 65, and
Mm.
then but like the 70 mil presentation is essentially him just shooting on 65. Like it does kind of eliminate a lot of the problems that I have from the kind of like shallow focus in IMAX in this movie.
Does it really? Does it? It doesn't take away the shallow focus, though, does it? I know I know you're talking about the
Well, it's still
headroom,
there, but like there's like less. Yeah, there's less frame there for it to really be
just because
distracting.
there's less image. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true. Um, but no, I would, for the most part, I just really wanted to see a background for once. And I know that obviously the 70 millimeter IMAX film was like, that's 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 what it is. That's his traits. Uh, it is celluloid. It is confined to this sense of focus. I don't know about you guys, but I thought the focus puller was drunk in some scenes. There's like really weird moments where I think because of the format, it's just shifting really rapidly and out of control. And
Yeah.
again,
Well, it
yeah,
must
I
be
found it really distracting.
incredibly hard to do that. Like even what he's doing, like changing focus on actors in that format, like during a walk, like a scene where they're like moving the camera across the beach. Like it
Mm.
must be like the actual technical aspects of doing that must be crazy.
Yeah, but I think even without the walking scenes, there were some scenes I think specifically in the beginning that I noticed it as well. Um, uh, I th- and I also thought that Jennifer Lane, the editor, did this just felt like a step down from Oppenheimer. I felt that she was her and Nolan were moving on from images too quickly. Nothing really rested on screen for that long. And I felt that Oppenheimer did a better job at kind of tying together this non-linear narrative. Um, but yeah, I felt that it was nowhere near as effective as she
Yeah,
had
that's
been.
definitely Nolan's style. Unless instead of holding on an image, especially Oppenheimer, and
Mm,
that's he kind of like shows the same images over and over again, and they're like editing style.
mm.
He does that
This
quite a lot
felt
during this.
different to Oppenheimer though.
Yeah, I think Oppenheimer felt like it lingered on stuff longer, but I liked
Mm,
the I liked the flashes of the Athena statue in this. I think it's quite a clever repetitive editing. But I agree. It was a bit distracting the editing at points. It was like 2 seconds at most. I think they'd linger on a shot for a cut. Um,
That could be a limitation to IMAX again because you just can't. What is it?
yeah,
3 minute takes.
yeah.
For
It
the
made me
IMAX
laugh
reel,
as
but
well
the real.
that dolphin scene that they like just happened to catch because you can tell that wasn't planned
Yeah,
because it looks so different.
Yeah.
Like
that's
that
crazy
entire
to catch.
sequence. It's like behind Matt Damon's shoulder. It's like someone's just picked the camera up and started recording. That's so cool though. I'm glad they included that. Yeah, editing on some levels, I don't think it's his best film, but I think narratively it's the most engaged I've been. I love ancient Greece though as a setting. I probably should. Have you seen Clash of the Titans, the original?
Yeah, I mentioned in my in the piece I wrote, just like I loved ancient Greece when I was growing up. I just had loads of picture books and stuff and just used to read them loads, just fascinated. And I think the thing going into the Odyssey is that I knew, you know, bits of the Odyssey because obviously people have expanded the different segments over time, but I didn't know it as a whole per se. Um, but yeah, those Clash of the Titans films were like
Stop
prime
motion,
Hollywood
so good.
stereotypical Greek sloth. It was um so funny. There was, yeah, Clash of the Titans, and there's like Wrath of the Titans as well. And then yeah, and obviously Percy Jackson. I read those books. Um oh yeah. But yeah, I think this film also feel like it's Nolan getting close, pretty much as close as he can get to something that's influenced him over time. Because I know the Odyssey was obviously one of the most influential texts ever, when people don't really realize it. But I feel like he has been making, like, thematic riffs on that book for some time, like not as a whole, but like pieces here and there. And I think I found the
Yeah.
same with like Frankenstein last year, even though I think Frankenstein is much worse than this. um Del Toro had been making riffs on Frankenstein his whole career, and then when he finally made the actual thing, it's just dismal and flat. And I
You don't think
feel
this is
that
better than Inception and Interstellar?
I don't think this is not, no. I think this is like, with like down, this is like the Dark Knight trilogy. The Dark Knight trilogy is my least favorite of his works. I think this is like just above that, maybe around Dunkirk. Yeah. I'm looking at a photo. I just crack up every time I see a photo of those stupid cameras with a like so big and large in that stupid case, and they've got mirrors everywhere. Like, oh, just give it over. He could be doing so much more if he wasn't stupid shooting with those stupid cameras. I think this one was like pushed me over the edge to how much I don't like them. And I only think he's stopping himself from well, those cameras are one thing, but I think himself as a filmmaker, and I think this film especially is incredibly strict, and not as expansive or imaginative as I'd hope for, but that is kind of him through and through, really.
I don't know. I think he's a much more interesting filmmaker than like any of his other like pre 2020 stuff, like the Tenet, Oppenheimer, Odyssey. Like Repeat is like kind of changed how I think about him. I mean, I think all of his movies are good, but like I wouldn't go to bat the same way I would for like his movies this decade than like any of his other
Interesting.
really stuff.
No, I would partially agree with Tenet and Oppenheimer. Tenet especially, I like something like Tenet and The Prestige feel like they're more self aware of his level of filmmaking than something like this, and I like when he dips his toes into that. Um, but uh I think come the end, like leading up to the last act, I was having I found it to be a semi entertaining mess. Like I think it's a bit all over the place, but I just think the last act is really really bad. He tries to get across this whole lesson message, and I just it kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. Yes, there's moments, I guess, sprinkled throughout, but they're kind of smaller and minor, and I felt like they meant a little more when they were in that state, but it it all comes out in this lifetime. We just get this all kind of dooming. Oh, it's the end of civilization stuff, and I found it quite tedious, to be honest. But I'm never gonna not enjoy watching someone like Pattinson perform and have fun as much as he does, because yeah, he is one of our best.
I think the ending adds like such a rewatchability to the movie. I've seen it twice now, and there's like it does add that kind of whole different kind of element to the way you're watching it.
Mm,
I guess I know you're kind of expected to already know the kind of like stuff that they're doing in the like the end of the Trojan War and what they do
mm,
to Troy. But even just the scenes where like they're going into these different islands and like setting houses on fire and like pretending to be the good guys, but then with the context of what they've really done, like Hamish Patel like going up to a guy and saying like, we're Greeks and like we're the good guys, and then but they've just like came off this like 10-year pillage on this town where they've destroyed just well you see then in the movie they're just killing and I'm well compared to Troy the I'd say that those scenes aren't quite as shocking. Um,
mm,
Wolfgang Peterson kind of goes a bit far compared to Nolan.
yeah.
But after what they've done to that, and then the kind of context of them being the good guys isn't as black and white as it seems, and I think that's kind of essential to Matt Damon being in this role as well because you're kind of always rooting for Matt Damon. If it was somebody else in the Odysseus role, I don't know if it would really work the
Mm,
same.
Well, it like recontextualized everything, which is why I'm looking forward to rewatching it. Um,
Hmm.
it sort of justifies why those giants, 'cause I can't remember the name of them, immediately attack them as well. If you go off the fact that this sea people legend has gone around all these islands as well. And I suppose in a way the journey they go on is some sort of like divine punishment as well. Obviously, if you've read the text, you're aware of everything, but I haven't. So um,
mm,
it'll be good to rewatch and sort of recontextualize all that sort of stuff, and see how like the raid on Troy is with that context again. Because I think the way they do the Trojan horse is so um, brutal but interesting. Like there are people like drowning in the horse on the beach
mm.
just so they can like infiltrate the city. I don't know. In typical adaptations, it's a much more
Oh
it's
yeah.
very very different looking horse to what Nolan goes for. It has like wheels and stuff. I don't know. I thought that was cool. Very cool.
The horse in Troy is so bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
like
huge,
why
isn't
did
it?
they let that inside the game?
It's
Yeah.
so bad. Just know that the art style they gave it is I hate it. It looks so terrible. Um no, like I think put the Cyclops bit was one of my favorite scenes. I think the scream was wild.
Really loud.
Um that was very loud. And the um the giants, the moving trees were cool. Um and I think they had 7 foot actors and 5 foot body doubles was partially how they did it. Um,
Yeah, it seemed really silly when they released the posters and you've got these like giants in and you're like, this looks really stupid poster for like what it's not going to be in the movie, and then you get to the point in the
yeah.
movie and it really is just like that.
Mm,
uh, I, one of the best scenes as well is like I mean we've not even mentioned Ludwig's score. But I think possibly the most effective moment in that is the scene that, well, they released it. Was it for Avatar? We seen that scene before.
What was it?
Well, the Trojan horse when they get out of it and open the gates, and
Oh
Agamemnon
yeah.
walks through the gate. His score is just like so stress inducing during that scene. I can't remember what movie it was they played it in front of, but yeah, I know we'd already seen it, but it was still as effective as the first time they showed it.
The score's really good. I think the Oppenheimer score blows it out of the water, but
Well,
it
that
is a,
blowed
it is
out
a good.
like every
Yeah,
score,
it blows
basically.
lots of. Yeah, it is a good score. It's not one of Ludwig's best, but it is a good score. Um, I like the score on the Raid of Troy as well at the end. Yeah, it is a good one. I'd be interested to um, see what it picks up at the Oscars. I'm sure it'll win some stuff. I'm not expecting it to like sweep it all, but um, you expect it'll have a cinematography norm. Probably all the technical norms, to be honest. And score again, I don't think he'll win it. Um, yeah, I don't think there's an obvious going to be an obvious sweep this year, which would be good, unless I'm missing something.
I think this is
Apart
one of
from
his worst scores. I think outside
what?
of the siren score, I think this is. I was feeling nothing.
Yeah, but one of Ludwig's
And
worst scores is still a good score. So
No,
I do
but
agree it's not his
that's
best,
crazy.
but
I think over time I've come to realize, apart from Tenet, that I don't really like his like really loud and bombastic scores like a lot of Sinners is, and I think he works better in quieter moments. But yeah,
Is that not
his
what this is?
loudest. No, 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 quieter moments and the score at the same time. But I just think his really loud, uh, his loud scores have little effect, except for Tenet, which I think is like obviously his best work. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't doing anything for me.
Wait, are you including Oppenheimer in that category?
Um, I don't think that's as that. No, it's good. No. Oppenheimer's good. I think that's quieter, for consistently more than um this is. But no, the action sequences in this, and his mix of music, I wasn't doing. It wasn't doing anything for me.
Hmm. I think like the Ithaca score is like really beautiful. Um, the fact that it's not kind of like the basic orchestral score. It's kind of like, I mean, I don't know what instruments are used in this, but it was kind of like historically accurate. I think instruments they used. Towards
Mm.
the end when like Odysseus like plucks his bow and like the score kind of comes in. I think that's great.
Mm.
Um, and this is a bit different from Oppenheimer and maybe Tenet, where like the whole score I wouldn't listen to on its own, but it's really effective as part of the movie. I think that's where it's kind of like different to these other scores. But there's still like some tracks in here that I've been listening to quite a lot.
Hmm. Is there anything else? I think the the ending felt. I know this is a maybe bit of a bleak thing to say, but it felt too hopeful. I was hoping for something like well, I know is like me asking for a different movie or just because I've read the source material, but yeah, I don't like how sappy and happy and um rewarding it it kind of closed in on, like specifically the them sailing off. Just it felt it felt too easy for me to end on a note like that.
Is that a literal ending though, or
What
is
do you
it?
mean? And what do you
Are they?
think it's?
Is it? I sort of got that was up for interpretation. They literally. I assumed he was dead, to be honest. Odysseus. But
Mm,
I don't know. Does he exile himself? I don't know. I think there's different ways to read it. Yeah, I assumed that wasn't
interesting.
real, to be honest, when he goes west. Because he says he's going to honor the dead, but I assumed he himself was dead, which sort of confused it because Penelope's obviously not dead. Um, but I get what you mean. But at the
Mm,
same time, he goes through hell, so I'm like not surprised for like Nolan that he picks that sort of ending. Cause he did similar for like Dark Knight Rises. It sort of reminded me of the Dark Knight Rises ending. I know people are memeing it with like Michael Caine nodding at Odysseus, but um, yeah, I don't know. I thought the ending was okay. I think the best part of the ending though was the Troy bit before that. I think that's amazing. Um, and Pattinson like shouting at the suitors to grab the weapons whilst he's like cowering behind um, is really good as well. Yeah, it's interesting you don't like that the most. It's definitely the last 30 minutes is probably my favorite part of the film.
interesting.
Well, and I don't. It's kind of a silly thing to say about like such a old text, but it kind of elevates what could have been such a basic kind of story in a way. The way he kind of changes the Odysseus arc.
Hmm. Well, to be fair, the final the book, um, like the point of ending in the book after all the suitors die, like all the families and the parents of the suitors come on like charge on the main palace, and like some guy gets his balls cut off, and like the book literally ends there. It's incredibly abrupt, but Odysseus still has this prophecy to fulfill, um, by himself. Um,
So Odysseus will return in the book.
what
That's how it
return
ends.
back home?
No, like a.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I guess. I hadn't thought of it like that. Yeah, I hope no one else ever shoots an IMAX film ever again. I hope it crashes and burns
You
and
really that resentful
dies.
about the format?
I am really that resentful about it. I think it's a format that preaches expansive filmmaking, and it is the exact opposite. I can't connect with the film on a formal level when I just physically cannot see any backgrounds and like anything that isn't like an ultra wide shot. And yeah, the actually I'll bring it up later because it will be in one of my favorites. But yeah, not for me. Not what I enjoy in filmmaking.
I would like to see him kind of just. I mean, I don't think this is going to happen, but like stick to large format filmmaking, but it doesn't have to be IMAX. But he has kind of established himself as the IMAX guy, so I don't know if that will happen.
Do we think he's gonna go? Do we think he made this just so he could have the title of this is the first film that's shot entirely with IMAX film cameras, and now he's gonna change it up? Or do we think he's actually
No,
just
I
gonna
think
go and do it again?
I think he'll do it again.
I
I
don't
think
know if
he'll
he's
keep
doing it
doing
out
it
of any
until he
like
gets bored.
accomplishment. I think he genuinely is interested in that. Um, as his own, he would want to be doing that regardless of the kind of like financial implications of an IMAX release.
Mm.
Oh, he's at the point now where like he'll probably make $1 billion no matter what he makes. He's like the household director, I'd say, even over like
True.
Spielberg.
No. Yeah. No. I agree. I think that's somewhat undeniable. Um. I just hope he makes something like. Imagine if he just goes and shoots like something really small on IMAX on all 70mm IMAX 70mm cameras. but that would be silly. I hope he does something smaller. But to be fair, anything is, I guess, is smaller in this comparison. But like actually small would be, I would take intrigue in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I need him to be a guy that makes smaller movies. I'm quite happy with him doing the bigger stuff. And someday out there has to be doing the bigger stuff at this level. Um, Especially when you get an Avengers. What's the movie called? You get a trailer the week after he releases
Doomsday.
something like this. Doomsday. That is doing large filmmaking at all the worst ways. But yeah, that's our review of the Odyssey. We're gonna get into our favorite watches of last month.
Okay.
Do you want to start?
My number 5 is a film I've been meaning to watch for a long time actually, which is Scott Barley's Sleep Has Her House. He's a Welsh filmmaker who makes experimental films. And this is his biggest film he's done yet. I was incredibly entranced by the whole thing. Technically speaking, it is actually a documentary, but he really plays and distorts the idea of what a documentarian is. He plays with lighting, kind of natural light actually, and darkens his frames, and you don't really know what you're staring at for a while, and then it would like the light kind of slowly peels back, and it's like incredible revelations. It is kind of disturbing and also wonderful, but this is an incredibly elemental film, and I was hooked, completely, and yeah, really love that stuff.
Shall I go next?
Yeah.
I watched Walker, which is a very odd film. It's not a western. It's like 18th century Nicaragua coup d'état. It's directed by Alex Cox, who did Repo Man and got banished from Hollywood for making Walker, because at the end it basically outlines all the war crimes that America were committing during like the 70s and 80s. It's really like an anti-establishment film, but it's got Ed Harris in it, which makes it funnier because it was quite a. I assume it had a decent budget. I don't think the stats are available, but yeah, it's really like it sort of reminds me of like a Guia, but way more stretched back. 'Cause it's like a bunch of white people trying to like sort this mess out in like South America, but then towards the end it goes absolutely batshit, and there's like helicopters with like army men with rifles at the end, even though it's set in like the 19th century. Um, I can't give too much away. It'd be a great film to watch party, but films are always fascinating that like kill a director's career. It's sad, but like you watch this, and especially for the 80s, how provocative it is, you can see why. Great film though, and Ed Harris is like giving it his all. I think it's a Criterion. It's one I'd recommend. It's quite a culturally impactful film.
So is it not a western?
No, it's set in that period, and Ed Harris sort of looks like a Western guy, but it's set in Nicaragua, so I don't really think I'd count it as a Western. It sort of has the aesthetics of one. But like I said, it's like a Western mix for like something like a Guia. It's good. It's weird though, really weird.
All right, that's weird. Yeah, I always thought that was a western, or just like a
Same.
straight up western. My number 5 is Irreversible, which I caught in 35mm the Prince Charles Cinema. I also knew what I was walking into in this. The kind of like infamous, one of the most infamous French extremity movies by Gaspar Noé. Was still shocking, to say the least, watching this in the upstairs cinema. Um, Obviously, some of the scenes in this are really hard to watch. Um, I don't know if I love the way they kind of like film ends. I don't like how it kind of like backtracks on itself with the way it isn't like it's structured like backwards. I think it kind of gets a bit repetitive by the end and kind of becomes like quite questionable. But up until that point, I think it's some really great stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting film. You've seen it, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've not seen it,
I've
have
not
you?
seen it. No.
Yeah.
I've never like found the time to watch it. I've never sat down and thought I'm going to watch it reversible. Like, I only want to get around to it.
It's not the thing you sit for a nice nighttime watch.
Can't believe you don't think of that.
I think it's my favourite
just, like,
movie I've seen
on your
from him.
mind.
Not that I've watched a lot.
Enter the Void is
Yeah.
good, really good.
I think Climax.
Climax is
I
good.
really like Climax.
I like Lux Eternia. What else have I seen from him? That's a good question, actually. What else has he done? I know.
He did
feel
the
like
like
I've seen
Circus Back somehow, which was like Travis Scott's
Oh, he did
I
like
don't know what
bits
you would
of
call
that.
that.
Yeah,
music movie.
he's done a few pornos too.
Yeah, just straight up porns.
Yeah, yeah. I think those are the only ones I've seen from him. Yeah, Climax, Irreversible, Enter the Void, and Lux Eternia. And obviously the Circus Maximus, which was kind of interesting. That was a underrated album. Underrated album, I think. Anyway, my number 4, I have gone for Michelangelo Antonioni's Blow Up, 1966, an English language film from him. And probably my favourite film of his. All the films I've seen from him, I've really, really loved. Actually, is this better than La Nota? I'm not sure. I need to see The Passenger too.
My note
But
is
anyway,
much better, I think.
Blow Up. So, to be fair, when I loved Blow Up when I first watched it, but I think the afterthought of it kept on staying with me and bringing it back, especially that ending, and just the images of that he takes of that woman in that one scene just keep appearing back in my mind. Yeah, I found it extremely compelling, especially the second half of the film, and it is just really stayed with me. And it did live up to the hype that it has received, and yeah, I mean it's no blowout, which I think is maybe a bit of a better variation, but it's still incredible. Yeah, Antonioni's a hell of a director.
My next film is Lux Eterna. Yeah. I mean, I love films about films. Anyway, so like anything to do with production is great, and Gaspar Noé's style really resonates with me. Like I said earlier, Irreversible. I don't know when I'm going to watch that because I don't really want to watch it alone at night, and I don't want to watch it in a cinema either. It feels just as weird, but I will watch it eventually. I'm just going to have to be in such a specific mood. But this was
First
really
date.
cool. This is really cool. Yeah, first date. Irreversible. Witches and stuff is such a cool idea. It's hard to talk about. Because I've only seen Climax other than this. I've not even seen Enter the Void yet. Vortex has been on my list for ages. I'm tempted, but again, it's not as probably not as bleak as Irreversible. It's still about someone like suffering from dementias. These films aren't something I ever want to like slap on. I've seen that Haneke film about dementia that I forgot the name of. That's really good.
L'Amour?
Yeah, so that sort of put me off watching Vortex. It sounds very similar.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie.
Because apparently Vortex by Nolan isn't really its typical style. It's trying to get awards, is what I've heard. But no, Lux Turner is great. I love the use of color, which you see in all his films, and that like split screen he does. It's quite overstimulating, but I really like it. It works for like the frenzy of the film, and like you can feel. It feels like it creates space and claustrophobia as well, and heat. I don't know. It's a good film.
Nice. My number 4 is it's a technically a rewatch, but like it was so long since I've last watched it. I'm gonna count it, and it was Poseidon. I kind of went on like a kind of like Wolfgang Peterson semi binge after watching Troy. 'Cause his like 2000s stuff is so crazy for like not really being a director that anybody talks about, because he had like 100+ million movies in a row like at the start of the 2000s, until this kind of like killed his career, which it wasn't even a massive flop, but like he'd had those kind of like semi-successful blockbusters, and then this was kind of just trying to pick up on the success of Titanic, and like, well, I guess Das Boot and The Perfect Storm before is kind of like a war movie for him, so it was kind of a good choice in a sense. And this definitely has some like 2000s blockbuster like craft to it, where it's like well shot. There's some like pretty solid practical effects to it. There's like people like Kurt Russell and stuff in it. Richard Dreyfuss is pretty old, which is it's weird seeing him like past his 70s. I didn't realize what he even looked like outside of Jaws. Yeah, Poseidon's a weird movie where it's kind of just it's kind of all the kind of like actiony moments of Titanic. It's not really like got any good like romance. It's like if you cut like Titanic in half, but then it also wasn't as good of a movie. But like, Wolfgang Pearson's still a pretty solid blockbuster director, I think. And
Have you seen Das Boot?
I have not. I was gonna
That's like
go
his
on to
that's like
that,
his
but
biggest most
yeah,
that's like his biggest work. Watch the director's cut. No, Das
yeah,
Boot is really good. It's incredibly
working towards it.
impressive. That's a claustrophobic film and a half. Yeah, no, it is good. That's such a dad film.
Yeah, I don't know if he went on to like America like straight after that, or if there's any more like German. He's German, isn't he? Yeah, German movies around that time. But yeah, I'll get to it eventually. What's your next one?
My number 3 is my top 3 are basically interchangeable at this point. 3 masterpieces really. But for number 3, I have gone for a Japanese film from 1980 called The Beast to Die, which I blind bought as part of the Radiant sale and was one of the best blind buys I've ever done in my life. It's a film about this guy who murders a policeman and steals his gun to keep on committing crimes. It's one of those films that is you get those really sadistic films that kind of maybe use their shock value to win over an audience, I guess, in some way or another. But this has that, but it also has something going for it behind that. The last act of this film just flips itself on its head. It just takes a horrific turn. And I don't want to say too much about it because I think the description I gave is all you need to know. It's wild. Absolutely worth it though. and it's an incredibly underrated gem. Only 2.5K logs on Letterboxd. The copy that
Oh,
I got from Radiance, the restoration is stunning. It's so good looking. Um, but that was hell of an experience. I don't even know if I want to watch it again. But it was worth it. Um, but yeah, would recommend.
My next film, the newish release, Tuna. Um, I wasn't gonna watch it, and I think I was bored one day, and I saw it was on, so I went and picked it. Probably when we were in a dead spell. It's good. It's cool to see Dustin Hoffman still acting, and he's good in this. Leo Woodall's good as too, and so is Havana Rose Lou. She's probably the best in this. Um, it's like a shade of light. It's not that dark. It has comedic elements to it. Their relationship's really good, Dustin Hoffman and Leo Woodall. I think it went under the radar a little bit, but it's got like a decent amount of logs. I think anything that's new nowadays though gets over 100,000 logs because how popular the app is. Um, I don't know if have either of you seen it? Did you see it
what
at
Oscar seen it at
LFF?
London Film Festival?
Yeah,
Didn't
it
he?
was the surprise film, so unwillingly, I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I liked it. I think you gave it a 3 in your hidden rating. Um, yeah, it's kind of a lame surprise film. Not gonna lie, even though I liked it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, the Shredder comparisons are there. Definitely, the the villains in it are quite stereotypical, like Eastern European bad guys. And I watched a film with I think Harvey Keitel, I want to say, that like inspired it from like the 70s. That was way more Schrader, but it was also not very good. So that was a shame because it was about like a gangster who was also a piano tuner. But no, tuner's good. I'd recommend it if you're doing like a completionist at the end of the year where you want to watch a bunch of films. I'd watch that over Tuna. That was good, man.
Yeah, I think I'll catch up at some point. Um, my third was a movie we all watched. None of us have brought it up yet, but last month we done the Picture House All Nighter, where we didn't know what movies were gonna show up. Four, wait, was it 4 or 5? I forget now.
5.
Four,
5.
five blind movies. Yeah. And the first movie was The Court Jester from 1955, which was just a ridiculous time. Um, I'd never heard of this movie either, um, but it was one of uh, the VistaVision intro came up, and that kind of limited what movies it was going to be at first. And I thought it was going to be another movie that the lead in this, Danny Kaye, is, and it's called what was it called, the Christmas one, White Christmas. I thought it was going to be that, but it ended up being a different lead from him, and it's kind of like a musical, kind of like a medieval. I don't know how to describe this comedy. It's a lot of different things. I know it's a weird movie, but it was a fun time.
It was good. That film was funny. That was good opening. Not sure that was my favorite film of the night
Yeah,
though. I did love Detour.
As a first
Um,
watch, that was my favourite. All that jazz is my
well,
favourite
all
film.
that jazz
So
was the best movie by far, I
yeah,
think. But
yeah.
um, in another close second place, I have my first Richard Fleischer film. I watched See No Evil as well, which is a really great kind of horror thrillery thing about this blind woman. It's got an incredible opening set piece. But anyway, the film I watched was 1968's The Boston Strangler. Um, no, it is not the Keira Knightley stupid remake.
That's the most
Um,
boring film I've ever seen.
this is one of the best films I've ever seen. Starring Henry Fonda, one of the greats, and another one of the greats in my favorite performance of his, the great Tony Curtis. Um,
Tony Curtis is so good.
you have to watch this. Like, if you love Tony Curtis, this is like unbelievable Tony Curtis performance in this. I thought this was groundbreaking. Fleischer has so many editing tricks. There's like so much split screen going on here, and I was just getting so, like, obviously it's dark, but like the filmmaking on display, I was just getting so giddy about it. It kind of cinema deconstructs this country and the mind of the killer at the same time. Um, and yeah, I was completely blown away by this. I thought I was gonna like it, but yeah, it just left me completely speechless. And it's absolutely worth it. Just it's really great for anyone who just likes that serial. I guess it has a fascination for like thriller stuff, serial killer, true stories, and the fact that it only has 17K logs is ridiculous because I think it's arguably the best of that genre. Um, but yeah, remarkable stuff. Really, really good.
I won't linger on this one because my two is Court Jester, which Ryan just talked about. Yeah, it's such a good first pick. It annoys me a bit with those mystery marathons because they're like, typically from my experience, they have a really good first pick and they just don't seem to match the energy of the first picks a lot of the time. I think they were going for it with that Greener Grass film, whatever it's called, but that was really annoying.
It was awesome.
The Step Brothers, the last pick was. I get why they did it. They picked something stupid at the end to keep you awake, but
They always do that. They did it with Shrek 2
it was rough for me because I rewatched Step Brothers like not long before. Yeah, the Court Jester is great, and it's one I've not heard of. I like getting films I've never heard of. Costumes are great. That lead, I forgot his name, so good. I don't know if it's like a theatre actor or an actual film actor, but he gave like theatre
No,
actor.
he's a film actor. He was quite a big
Is it?
music.
Okay. It's probably in something I've seen,
Yeah.
to be fair. Yeah, it was great. It was really funny as well, like really dry humour. Yeah, it's one you could put on, watch it by yourself or in a group. I think it's timeless, the humour. It reminded me of Monty Python a little bit with like the carriage scene where they're in disguises, where she's sign language with like a minute and she just says one word. Some funny stuff in it.
Yeah, that was a really fun watch. My number two is John Sturgis's Black Day or Bad Day, Black Rock, which is kind of a genre blend of a noir and a western, where it kind of focuses on this mystery inside this really small like town in the US. Yeah, it's really just sort of quite smart genre blend of those two. Um, where you're following just the deceit of the ongoings of this small town that wants to get Spencer Tracy basically out of the town immediately as he shows up, and that's kind of like it's kind of like the start of Once Upon a Time in the West if it just stopped at the train station and like the train station was like the whole town. That's like essentially the
need to watch
premise
that.
of like this movie. Yeah, it's a really smart, just like small location genre film. I would recommend it.
Ooh. Yeah, I do really need to watch it. But if I'd done this with the energy, and this might have been a bit further way down the list, but I rewatched it the other day. Timely pick. But for number one, I have my favorite adaptation of Homer's Odyssey in the 89, I think it is, 1989 film Nostos the Return. It's just like 90 minutes long. This film is completely godless, and it doesn't it is it's a film that is devoid of fantasy. It doesn't have any like the cyclops or anything, but somehow it feels infinitely more fantastical than Nolan's. I feel like I can just step out and enter this world at any moment. The frames are so well, they're gorgeous and they're palpable. It is purposefully subtitleless. This film is the minimal dialogue that there is in this film is spoken in an imaginary language that is a mixture of ancient Greek, Sanskrit, and something else. So even if you tried to, I don't think you'd get very far. And yeah, and in that sense, it really does put all of its faith into its images, and it's one of those rare films that absolutely achieves that. And yeah, I was blown away by it on the first watch, but that the second watch really hits. And yeah, it is. I think it heightens all the best qualities of Homer's work to a massive degree. It is very specific in that sense. Um, uh, yeah, it is incredibly. This film specifically is quite elemental. Like the landscapes in it, there's a lot of focus on the water and the swamping of nature around Odysseus. And the erosion of time. This film feels like Odysseus is more lost in time rather than geographically lost. Um, but yeah, I'd absolutely recommend it. Maybe quite a specific thing because it is fairly experimental, but it is really stunning.
My number one, my like Western love is growing month on month, and Kevin Costner's Open Range is one of the best dad films I've ever seen. It was made for dads. Um, Kevin Costner himself and Robert Duvall as like a duo. They're so cool. It's such a cool film. Um, I'm quite. I like with westerns. I like quite meditative ones, but I'm not gonna lie. They're really like full on gunfighty westerns. I love as well. I think this strikes a really good balance with like the relationship they have together, Duvall and Costner, and then the people around them. Um, the gunfights in this are so good at the end. Like they're not meant to look good. The aim is terrible. They're just not hitting each other. But that's like the point, and it's really loud. And Michael Gambon's such a good villain in this. He's so hateable. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a great film. One you could. I don't. I think that might be the first Costner directed film I've seen. I know he's only really done Horizon and well, is it all westerns actually? He's done Dances with
Well,
Wolves. I think he's only ever directed westerns.
he's got a small picture called Dances with the Wolves that he won Best Picture with.
I know, but isn't that a western?
Not really. I guess.
I
Guess it
don't know.
technically would
I
be,
like.
wouldn't it?
I know nothing about Dances with Wolves. I know it won Oscars, but
Yeah, it is a western.
yeah.
Not a traditional western, I
So
don't think, but it is a western.
I don't know what's going on with those Horizon films. Are they any good?
I've not seen it, but I don't think we're ever going to see
They're never
Part
gonna
two,
see the
yeah.
second one.
the rest.
Part
Yeah.
one. People will try to gas part one up as some late style thing. It's just such a whatever film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling. It's like 3 hours long. Yeah, I
It's a
wasn't.
shame Kevin Costner. Like I don't know. I feel like he could have been a huge thing. I know he's like well known, but everything I've seen him in is great. Like JFK especially.
Oh yeah,
It's a shame, but no, Open Range is great. Great western.
you need to see that.
Yeah, that does look like a cool movie. I didn't know Michael Gambon was in that. He's a really
Yeah,
good
it's really
actor.
good. He's trying to do an American accent, but his British accent keeps like slipping through. I think he's British. He keeps like slipping through.
Yeah, he is. Um, I'm gonna slightly cheat with my number one just because last month wasn't amazing for first watches, and I wanted to just mention this. I'm gonna do Twin Peaks, episode 8, which I seen at the Prince
Ooh,
Charles.
an episode. You really cheated. Oh my
Oh,
god.
no,
Nah.
it's a section of a
is.
movie.
It
Screen.
is a section. Yes, you're caved in. It is a movie.
There was this way. It was a 50-minute segment of a movie that David Lynch made that they screened. Yeah, it was amazing. Some of the best stuff Lynch has done. It felt like 10 minutes. It really was crazy how quickly that went by. I think it's like the 4th or 5th time I've watched it. Like there isn't really a like episode of a season of anything that I really just watch like individually instead of just like binging through it. It really is one of the great episodes made this century,
It's like,
which I guess
yeah,
by
not even episodes. I think it's like one of the best bits of art this decade.
yeah, there really is
Not
so
this
much to
decade, this
kind of like
century, sorry.
digest within like an hour of what he's doing here, and it's so different to like really everything else in Twin Peaks as well. It's really such a unique like kind of like segment of it.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
TV slop.
Not TV.
Your favorite movie is TV Slope.
It is, and everyone's watching it in America. I'm so jealous. It's out in America. Oh,
Oh, right now. Oh,
Oh dear.
is that everything? That was me. The last one, wasn't it? Okay. Okay, so that was what we've been watching and our review of the Odyssey. Let us know what you thought of Christopher Nolan's latest movie, and we'll be back for something else next time.